Bowman and Deal's human resource framework outlines how an organization should work to provide for and support the needs of its employees. It focuses on the cooperation and teamwork between the organization and the staff in decision making, planning, and performance. It also states that a good fit is beneficial for both parties because employees have meaningful and rewarding work, and that the organization then has the good talent that it needs to be successful and to be the most successful that it can be. In regards to how I would organize my staff, I would put some of the different groups on the same levels. I didn't keep them all separated out, as I believe that they share the same level of importance within the school, and that they share those same concerns, or same relative task would overlap between them. So I'd rank them with students and parents first, community and alumni underneath that, the teachers and paras below them, then the custodians, maintenance staff, and the cafeteria staff, and then the office staff and myself as the last. The way I chose to organize these groups was because I fully believe in the idea of doing what's best for kids. That would be kind of, we've been going through and talking about a shared vision. And for me, that's kind of my vision. It's very vague, and I believe that that gives a lot of leeway to be applied to many different situations. But I tried to imagine a situation where each group had a immediate issue that needed to be resolved, that were all relatively of equal importance, and I based my organization off of that, off of how I would interact with those, how I would prioritize each one of those groups. So the students and parents, they would come first because the school exists to provide first and foremost for our students and education, and by extension, their parents. We are providing the students and education rather than the parents doing it for them. We are, in loco parentis, to act as the parents, while the kids are at school. Next, the community and alumni, because we're supposed to be preparing students to enter into our community, enter into our workforce, be productive citizens. And I believe that our role as a school is to kind of provide that for the community. So we need to work with them, find out what they want from our students, what do they want from our school. And we need to work with our alumni because they are part of our community, they are part of our school community. So they should be included in the decision-making process, and just when we're talking about whether it's curriculum or whatever the case may be, going to a sports game or whatever it is, just to make sure that they do feel welcome, that they do feel that they have a voice within the school. Next, the teachers and the paras. They're my third priority because they are the direct line of service. They are that front line of service to those previous two groups. They are directly responsible for the impact we leave upon students, who are then going to be our alumni, and to be those people hopefully living within our school community that are faces of the school, that are the personalities that are associated with our building. Custodians and maintenance personnel and the cafeteria staff, they exist within the school setting to provide that physical environment, to maintain the bathrooms, maintain the lawn. If there's a leak somewhere, if AC, heat, whatever's going on, making sure that the kids, whether they have breakfast in the morning, if they, during lunchtime, whatever the case may be, they are there to provide that physical environment for our kids, for our students, so that not only can the students be productive students, but that they are also creating that point of pride for our students and for our community and for our staff as a whole, to make sure that it's somewhere that the staff wants to be in the morning, that the students want to be there in the morning, and that as people just drive down the street, that it's something that they look at and they go, oh man, look at our school, it looks great. So they do have a very important role in kind of showing that face of the community, I guess. I chose to place the office staff next. They're very much towards the bottom of my list because they deal with the more administrative tasks that have those hard deadlines and that can be planned out If you know that you're going to need toner every 3 months or whatever, you can schedule those things out. I believe that if they are operating efficiently and effectively, that their issues should not be things that need to happen immediately. Where if it's in a classroom setting, it can be an immediate situation. If a kid has a medical emergency, if there's a behavior emergency, whatever it may be, those issues tend to need much more immediate attention than if we're out of Post-it notes. Not to trivialize their jobs or anything like that, but the office staff works on much more of a schedule and dealing with timelines than do other arenas of the school. So, not that I wouldn't have to deal with those issues, but hopefully they would be things that could be put off for a day or two if it absolutely had to, if there were much more pressing needs to deal with throughout the school. And then finally, I placed myself at the end. Not because I think that sounds good and I want everyone to like me or anything like that. But I truly feel like my job is to facilitate others. That it is my job to make sure everyone else within the building can effectively do their job. It is that managerial role where you delegate responsibility. You make sure everybody has the things that they need in order to complete their own tasks, rather than saying, "Hey, here's all these huge things that I need to do," and that I see it more as me trying to help the rest of the staff to effectively run a school versus the staff trying to help me to effectively run a school. At least in my own head, that's how it makes sense. So that's just kind of how I would organize it, and I don't know if it's the best way. It's certainly not the only way, but that just personally is how I would do it. And I think the hardest part of that is separating those groups, because it could be at different times of the day that everybody's going to have different situations that they're going to need to deal with. And I really think you need to deal with those on a situational basis.